The livery. It can be quite an important part of the design of a race car. It can make it memorable or forgotten. When racing first was a thing, liveries were very simple. It would be a simple design, the driver's name and the driver's number. But as soon as people started to figure out that Shell or some tobacco company could send them a bit of coin, and that could make motor racing a bit less expensive because people were figuring out this ain't cheap, it made it slightly easier to do it on the long term, so people decided to slap as many stickers as they physically could on the car. And the sponsor could go into the livery design. Take Castrol for example. Their colours are all over their sponsored cars. It's rare, if ever, that a main Castrol sponsored car has a bit of blue or yellow on it. It's predominantly red, green and a bit of white. And in the V8 Supercars, you've got your famous liveries. You've got your Holden Racing Team Lion cars, the 888 Red Bull cars, your Shell Helix DJR cars. But what about the underrated ones? Those ones that get lost in the crack or are run by a minnow team that has had slightly more better liveries. Or there was just a lot of good liveries around that time, and this is one of the liveries that just got lost in the shuffle. Well, this video highlights 7 of these underrated liveries that I want to talk about. If you like your Supercars content and you want to see more of it, give a like and a subscribe. The support would be very much appreciated. My next video should be the round review for the Townsville round, so stick around for that. And if you want more daily content, check out my TikTok, Instagram and Facebook, where I try to upload as daily as possible. So anyway, onto the liveries. And like I said, for a livery to be quite underrated, it needs to have something that looks really good about it, but it needs to have been lost in the shuffle. Basically, take for example a 888 livery. They've had so many liveries, but they're not all going to be bangers and they're not all going to be memorable. Not every livery is going to be a Bathurst winner or a championship winner, although as much as they try. So anyway, my first underrated livery. This goes back to the 2001 season and a brand new team on the horizon. This is Team Kiwi Racing, and I want to specifically talk about their VX Commodore, because their VT Commodore, very memorable. It's the one that they debuted in 2000, the Jason Richards Angus Fogg one on the VT Commodore styling, and with that outline on the front grille. The VX doesn't have that, and I think it looks a bit better. Plus you've got the memorable silver fern on the side of the car, the full black livery, the local sponsors. I mean, you've got More FM, Vodafone chipped in some money, that's why they had the 021 as their number. It all really came to be a very good livery, but not a memorable livery. The most memorable thing I can think of is the 4th place at Pukekohe and that reverse grid race at Canberra in 2002 where they ran a very similar livery. Jason Richards did well in that one too. The one that will get etched in time is the Bathurst one. That's the one that's been restored recently and recently did a tour of New Zealand. I wish I saw that when it was doing that. Please do it again when I'm at Timaru. The next livery is a Stephen Ellery Racing livery. Now Stephen Ellery Racing had a lot of bright and bold sponsors with Supercheap Auto, and even outside of that, their Ford Sierra that they ran in the Super Touring Championship was a very bright livery as well. Now a lot of these were memorable. You had the 2003 one, which was probably the most successful, 2001 where they had their best championship finish, and 2000 where they won their first race and podiumed at Sandown, which is where it's also the first year that they sort of did things full time with Supercheap. But I'm going to go with the 2004 livery. It's more of the grayer colours, if that makes sense, because the top part of the livery is basically silver, and not gonna lie, combine that with what is going on in the bottom part of the livery, it looks very good. For the time, it was very modernised and, well, ahead of its time, and the thing that makes it less memorable is the fact that this was the last livery, and it wasn't even the full-time livery. Just before the Gold Coast round, Supercheap pulled all their funding and told Stephen Ellery Racing to take everything super cheap off of their team, their truck, their fire suits. It's a good thing Ford Racing had that big bugger off truck full of just generic gear, because they rated that before the Gold Coast round. So it didn't even run the full livery, or it didn't even run the full year in these colours, but when it did, it was very good. Ford Performance Racing for the next livery. This is going on the Caterpillar car. Now, Caterpillar were a major sponsor for the number 6 car for upwards of 4 years, first with Craig Lowndes and then with Jason Bright. The Craig Lowndes liveries were pretty good. The 2003 one will be memorable, the 2004 one will be forgotten, but it wasn't very good anyway. But I want to talk about the 2006 one. This is the one that Jason Bright and Mark Winterbottom won the Sandown 500 in, the one that Brighty ran for the full season. This is the same design that was on the Mark Winterbottom car, but I think the colours just look better on this one. It's using just black and yellow. Black and yellow, you work well all the time on a car. I mean, look at the DeWalt car from this season in the Supercars Championship. But those colour combinations, there is nothing wrong with that colour combination. So when it works, it really works. The problem is that 2006 was one of the more, even though it was Frosty's first win, it really ever comes up as one of those sort of memorable cars. Mainly because 2006 had so many memorable cars. I mean, you've got the 888 car, you've got the HSV dealer car, you've got the HRT car. So there are so many awesome of all-time liveries around this time. So this is one of those lost in the shuffle because a lot of other liveries were just bangers. But I think it looks brilliant. And with the Falcon on the side of it, it is classic Ford Performance Racing. Somewhat more modern Ford Performance Racing was when they were Pro Drive Racing Australia. This is the next car I want to talk about. Starting from 2016, Cameron Waters would jump in the number 6 car after Chaz Mostert got moved to the number 55 for commercial reasons. One of the sponsors that Cam Waters brought over was Monster Energy, and when they were on the side of the 2016 car, it was brilliant. The Castrol sort of takes over the front bonnet of the car, and the headlights are detailed with the Orcon steel highlighted parts. But it's the black and the slight tinges of grey. Everything from 2017 onwards has just been matte black, matte black, matte black. Some special liveries in there and back to matte black. I've been hounding Monster Energy to have some sort of detail in their car. When it was introduced in 2017, their updated livery, it was like, whoa, this looks really cool, but now it's just boring. But this 2016 car, the hints of grey, it just adds the detail that this livery has been missing for upwards nearly of a decade. And it was a fast livery for when he used it. Cameron Waters got a pole position in Perth and didn't do too badly in his rookie season. But this livery, in my opinion, is sorely missed. Back in the 90s, there were 3 cars with Castrol sponsorship on it, the 2 Perkins Engineering cars and the Longhurst Racing car. Longhurst had a different style to Perkins cars when it comes to their Castrol liveries on the 25 Ford, but the 1999 one was significantly different and it was very good. The side of it went for like a wave down to a sharp spike design, which is very of the time, and it's probably the better of the 3 liveries, not gonna lie. The 1999 one, it didn't hit different. The Perkins one didn't hit the same as the ones of the yesteryear. The Silver Bullet was cool, but this one just had the design that just made the AU look a bit better. It's just a shame that this livery was only used for 1 year because Longhurst Racing closed up at the end of 1999, or was his car got sold to Brad Jones Racing, and that started that era. So it's a shame it was only used for 1 season. But speaking of making the AU look better and eventually the BA, I'm going to go with Larkham Motorsport. Larkham was in a struggle going from 2000 to 2001. He lost Mitre 10. Because of that, he couldn't expand to a second car like he wanted to in 2001. even had the chance to get Marcus Ambrose possibly in that seat. But 2001 was a disaster. He lost ICS Smart Car halfway through the season and ran a lot of races with an unsponsored predominant yellow car. 2002 is when Ocon came onto the scene. The 2002 car looked okay. I didn't typically like the Ocon font on the side of the car, but that was just the font of the time. 2003, however, they updated the font and it looked really good. Everything about this livery sort of clicks. The sponsor is big and bold. The colours work beautifully. It's got a racing stripe, which helps. And it's got that hint of detail that just makes it stand out. The thing that was holding them back was the fact that they were at the back of the pack. At the start of 2003, they didn't update to the BA quick enough. They were in the AU, and Jason Bargwanna, Larko's eventual teammate for 2003, jumped into a BA halfway through the season, and Larko basically stayed in the AU for the rest of the season. So they weren't too competitive in the grand scheme of things, which made it lost in the shuffle. And this is another one of those years where a lot of these liveries weren't memorable. You had the Shell livery, you had the Gary Rogers car, you had the bloody Stone Brothers cars. So there were a lot of liveries in 2003 that stood out. This one does stand out, but it was, for whatever reason, forgotten, especially considering with Larko's Mitre 10 cars, they were lost in the shuffle of the Larkin Motorsport history as well. And the final livery I want to talk about is a livery that is on multiple generations of cars, but I want to talk about them on the VT Commodore, the Wins liveries. Wins was a major sponsor of Gibson Motorsport for 1997, I think. They sponsored Darren Hossack, and then they expanded to 2 cars in 1998. But it was 1999 when they had Stephen Richards and Greg Murphy, which probably made the livery look the best. It just looked better on the VT Commodore compared to the VX. With those Wins splotches of paint on the side of the car, it made it stand out. It wasn't just a plain white car, and it was memorable. It won Bathurst for goodness sake, but it's lost in the shuffle of the Bathurst winners somehow. When you think of some of the best Bathurst winners of all time, and even Richo and Murphy's Bathurst wins, the Wins car isn't really talked about. They talk about like the Kmart cars, or with Stephen Richards, the Red Bull era, or with the Lowndes era, or the win with Frosty, or something like that. Or it's just lost in the shuffle somehow, and it doesn't help that for a majority of the season in the non-enduros, they weren't really a factor. The Gibson cars were best for the endurance season. But that is my video talking about 7 underrated liveries. Do you want me to do a part 2? Because I can do a part 2. Don't twist my arm to do a part 2. Let me know your thoughts in the comments down below, and think of some ideas of your own about underrated liveries. And while you're down there writing a wee comment about suggesting this livery, that livery, and the next one, give a like and subscribe, support would be very much appreciated. And while you wait for the next video, check out one of these 2 videos beside me. I have no idea what they'll be on about. It's probably supercars related, and I'll see you in the next video, whatever one that may be.